Alright, welcome back everybody. We're going to do something a little different today. This is going to be a first and three-part tutorial. We are going to start generating this rock that you see here using just a set of photos that I took of a rock on a turntable in my kitchen. I know, it sounds kind of weird, but it's a pretty cool little program that we're going to play with today. We're going to start off with Photoscan today, new one that I've been playing with for the past couple weeks. And then in the next tutorial, I will show you how to clean up that mesh inside Zbrush. Also create a low poly uh, version of it to where you can project the information to. Set up the UVs and all that, and then we'll take it on into another tutorial in Substance Painter and finally render it out in Marmoset. So basically, this technique is called photogrammetry, and it basically takes it really is just taking a bunch of photos. Here's some of the photos down here, as you can see, and going around the object, or you can have the object spin in place like it is here, and it's able to construct a three-dimensional version of it on the computer for you, as well as map all the textures for you. Uh, Kind of go over the do's and don'ts with photogrammetry. One don't would be don't be doing shiny objects, anything reflective, anything metallic, anything that's throwing around different I don't know, different reflections and stuff like that as you look at it different, from different angles. And because that will cause errors and the computer just will not quite understand what it's looking at. So if you try to avoid that, and which we will today, we're just going to use a kind of a flat rock that doesn't it's not really shiny. It's yeah. So yeah, you pretty much just need kind of a flat diffuse type item to photograph. You can go out in the field and go around objects and take a bunch of pictures of it, and it'll help you, and it'll generate a mesh like this. I would say if you're doing outside doing it, make sure it's on a cloudy day, so this way you're not getting a bunch of harsh shadows. And yeah, so that's just kind of a couple do's and don'ts there that I've come up with recently. There are some free applications out there that you can use that I've used before, that I've tried to use. Most of them are web-based, so what you have to do is take all the pictures and then upload it to a server, and then the server spits it back out a little bit later as a 3D object. Well, me, I like to do everything right here on my computer. I like to have a little more control, and that's what we're going to use today. So let me take you over to a website real quick. Two places I want to show you. One is Agisoft, or Agisoft, or however you pronounce it. Maybe someone will correct me. I don't know. It's fine. They're the makers of Photoscan. You can get a 30-day trial, and just so you know, I'm not paid. I haven't received any money or freebies from them to do this tutorial. This is just a cool program that I want to show off to you. So like I said, you can go over and get a 30-day trial of it. Price-wise, it's not too horrible. We'll go over the online store here. Ignore that professional edition because we'll be using the standard edition. But also you can, go on the main page there, and you could you can get a 30-day trial right now and play with it like I did. And I was sold after generating a few models and impressed with how much detail I was able to get. So also I need you to go over to my Gumroad page. There's a new section, new spot in here. It's the Photoscan Rock Demo, and you can click on it. Maybe it'll give me a preview. I don't know. It's acting up on me today. But basically, it's got all. I'll show you the file here. Here we go. Let me go up to the main one. So you get a folder full of masks. You get a folder full of photos, and then you get this this action for Photoshop to help you generate the mask for your photos. So let's go into the photos, and you can see It should be like 68 images in here. As you can see, it's a turntable at different levels, at different heights around the object. The more pictures you take, the better the model is going to look. Okay, and the higher the quality, higher the resolution, the better results you'll get. Today we're only working with 912 by 1368, which is about quarter resolution with my camera. I did that for the sake of the tutorial so you guys can download it. It does actually make the processing faster just because it's less detail that it has to try to generate. So if you want a better quality, use higher quality images. So, and when you're shooting these images, make sure, like with my 70D, I made sure that I was in the manual settings. So this way everything is consistent throughout. Your aperture, your ISO, even your auto white balance. Make sure that's set to a specific temperature. There's usually some presets in there. I think I set this one to like 7500, which is for tungsten lights, because I used like two little halogen lights on either side there to illuminate this, as well as a LED above. And this is a real crude setup there. It's just a green poster board behind it, a little Lazy Susan on the bottom, and a rock that I took out of the planter in my off my porch. So, kind of cool results you can get just from these 68 photos here. So, and let me show you the masks real quick. And I just used that action that I had in Photoshop and to get rid of all the green, and it masked it all out for me. And then I had to make sure that the naming convention was correct. You want to do underscore mask, and then this is JPEG, so .jpg. And as long as that says that, it'll be able to match up inside Photoscan. So that's what I was able to do just with that little Photoshop action. So you can make these other ways. You could do it in After Effects using Keylight, but you know, however you can get to this is going to help you out in the long run. It'll save a little bit of processing, and it'll also make better models for you. So without further ado, let's go inside Photoscan. I've babbled on here for a few minutes, and let me do new. I was playing with it earlier. And we want to basically, the one tab that you'll probably be using the most here is workflow. And there will be a couple other spots that we'll go into, but workflow is your basic menu that you're going to play with. So first thing we do is add photos, not folder, and go to your Photoscan demo, photos. We'll select one, do Control A to select them all, and open. And it will give you this little warning here because it noticed that I used the zoom a couple times. I changed the zoom length. I really don't, I've done it a few times already and I've noticed that it really doesn't make that big of a difference. But then I'm not changing the zoom that much, you know, maybe 10 millimeters or something like that, just so I could zoom in just a little bit. So don't stress over that too much there. But just try to keep it in the back of your mind. You don't want to zoom too much there because it'll kind of change how the object is. But this program is actually pretty good at fisheyes and distortions, so it's able to correct for it because it's looking at the data with the photos. So now we got our photos in here, and we want to attach those masks to the photos. So you have to go into the tools and import masks, and change your method from alpha to file, and it's going to be a replacement operation. And this is the template. Okay, so whatever your file name, so image 4212 or underscore 4212 there, and then it would be underscore mask, and then default it comes up PNG. Just change that to JPG for JPEG, and then you click OK, and we want to select the folder, which is photos or Photoscan demo, then mass, select folder. It will attach everything to it. You don't notice anything down here just yet, but if you click this little tab right here, show masks, there you go. Because we had that naming convention in there, it was able to pick up on it. So, and you can even double click one, and you can see how the mask is, outlining everything that we want to save, and we don't want all that green goop in the back. So I'm gonna close that one, and now we're gonna move on to our workflow. Now you can see a new option is on there, align photos. So click align, and we're gonna do high accuracy. Pull down that advanced, and make sure constrain features by mask is turned on if you're using masks. Now, if you don't have masks, whenever you take your own photos, obviously you won't need it when you're out in the field taking a picture of a tree or whatever. So you can just keep that turned off, and then click OK. And now it'll go through the process of aligning all the cameras and finding matching points. And a good rule of thumb, like with the turntable, I just went maybe about 10-degree, 15-degree increments on turning the turntable until I went fully around it, and then I raised the camera up, tilted it down a little bit, and then did another pass, and then went up a little higher, looked straight down, and then did a little pass like that. And you'll see here in a second when it aligns everything. And we'll get a brief preview. It'll make a small point cloud for us, give us a little preview of what we're going to get. So it looks a little junky right now, but that's all right. This is just a preview for right now. And for controls on here, if you want to rotate the model, you have to click on that little sphere in the center of the screen. And unfortunately, from time to time, Photoscan doesn't put your model right in the center of the world, so it gets a little hairy trying to turn it around. As you can see, it's off axis, and even the model is going to be turned a little off to its side, and that's just the nature of the beast with this one. Hopefully they'll change that in the future, or I'm just missing something to where I can reorientate it. I know you can rotate just the object itself in here, which we can do that, but I can't realign it to the center of the world. So, because if I keep on zooming here, you'll see here in a second, see how it clipped it? And I'm zooming in and out using the center mouse wheel just to move it back and forth. So, but we're only working with a preview here, and I'm just interested in getting this model finished up and out into ZBrush. So let's go ahead and move on to our workflow. We've got this preview dense cloud here. It's basically, if you open up this chunk right here, you can see camera and then tie points. So we got 17,183 tie points, and that's the point cloud that's on the screen right now. So it's just got those points there as reference. So what we'll do now, which is going to be the most tedious part to this whole thing, so we're going to do build dense cloud, and it's ultra high settings, and advanced, you can do depth filtering at moderate. Let me cancel out real quick and show you something. If you've got a decent video card going, graphics card, go under Tools Preferences, go under GPU tab, and click on all your GPU devices. I've got a GTX 1070 as well as a little Intel HD graphics card that's got a couple cores on it. So we'll click on both of them. And then you can disable this one down here, use CPU when performing GPU accelerated processes. You can turn that off. So that'll help speed it up. Because these are smaller images, this process may only take about 5 minutes. But if you've got larger images like I typically use, I use at least double this resolution here that we're using. And it could take anywhere from 10 to 25 minutes to build this dense cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to workflow and build dense cloud, and with those previous settings, and click OK. And what I'll do now is I'm going to pause the video, and then I'll get back with you when it's done processing, okay? Hold on just a second. All right, we are done processing the dense cloud, and if you notice over in your chunk over here, you'll see that we now have a dense cloud, and looks like there is 2.8 million points. And if you double click it, there you go. It's generated that nice dense cloud. It's using a vertex color or a point color there, and that's how it's able to generate all that color. Can't really zoom in real close here, sorry, because as you can see, it's going to still clip. That's that whole world space coordinates, and it just plops it down just kind of anywhere. It's kind of weird. I never did show you how it aligned all the cameras. Let me show you that real quick. If you click on this little tab up here, if it's not already clicked, you can click that, boom. You can see all the camera locations that it's able to figure out and extrapolate. Oh yeah, it shows you all the images, even their corresponding. You can actually go in here and actually click and delete them if you wanted to, but let's not do that because we need every photo that we can get there. And as you can see, the higher I went, I actually took less photos because I already had a lot of the information down here. But the more photos, even though the longer the process it is, the better results you'll get. So it, just don't go super duper crazy and do like 1,000 photos on one rock. It's going to take forever for it to figure it out. So, 68 photos was perfect for this. So let me zoom back in, and we can start cleaning this up just a little bit, just to help us out whenever we get into ZBrush. So I'm going to turn off those cameras so I don't accidentally delete them. If you go up to this little tool thing up here and drag it down, do freeform selection, I'm just going to try to get rid of some of the Lazy Susan, the turntable it was on, and I'm going to just highlight everything that I want to get rid of. So you can be kind of loose with this, and then I selected that, hit delete. There we go. And if you hit spacebar, it will go back to the last tool you're on. So if I hit spacebar again, you just watch up here, it just cycles between those two tools. So quick little handy tip there. I just figured out a little bit ago. Kind of nice. So, and then remember to pan. You can click and hold your center mouse wheel if it gets off screen. So let's go ahead and switch back to our lasso. Go in here, clean up some of these little guys here, and delete. Like I said, a little hairy, dragging this little guy all the way around here. Bit of a pain. And switch back to my lasso. And hit the delete button. And let's see if there's anything on the backside. And you'll see some chunks off in middle of nowhere space there. Okay. Switch tools. Should be the last that I have to get rid of here. And delete. Alright. Let me come back out. Center them up. Alright, so we did all the cleanup there. As you can tell, we're going to end up with a little bit of a hole in our mesh. There is a way within Photoscan that you can actually scan, like, you can create as many chunks as you want. So you could technically scan the underside of it and then somehow align it and it'll blend it all back together. I haven't quite mastered that yet, so we're going to just work with the whole, and I'll show you how to cap it off and all that inside ZBrush today. So let's go ahead. We've got this all set up. We got our 2.7 million point cloud here of our rock. So let's go ahead and generate our build mesh. So this is what we're gonna just kind of copy my little setup here. It's a surface type or obituary, Source data is dense cloud. Face count, we're going to do just 3 million. The higher resolution ones, I do about 5 million. And that's your face count. Um, so, food for thought, like I said, with the higher resolution photos that I usually do, I did the same rock, a couple days ago, and I was able to generate just with twice the resolution of these photos down here. I almost got up to 10 million points. So, it definitely shows that the more data you can give this program, the better the results. But even with this slightly lower point cloud, we're still going to come up with this guy here because this is the same one that we're doing right now. So just kind of food for thought. So I babbling on, and I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and build our mesh. I'm going to click OK. We're going to start the process again. This may take a little, not as long as building the dense cloud, but this one still takes a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and I will be right back. All right, we are done processing our 3D model. We're still on the dense cloud there, so we have to just double click our model. And there is our model. It's in wireframe mode. I don't think I can zoom in close enough. Well, yeah, I can. There we go. Now it's playing nice with me. And you can see how dense the mesh is, and you can see how much detail we are able to obtain, which is quite a bit. If you look up here, you can see some of this section right here. You can see how less dense it is right there. That's due to the fact that it wasn't able to, either you didn't have a good angle on it, or it's just kind of, it didn't capture enough detail there to give you an insane amount of detail like it did on the rest of the model. So that's why it does that. But otherwise, we've got a really nice looking model there. And if you go over to shaded, and it's got vertex color in there, so just like the point cloud, it's got vertex color. And now our last but not least is going to be our texture map that it's going to generate for us. So go back to your workflow. We're going to go back to build texture now, and this is my setup here. Uh, you got generic mapping mode. You've got mosaic blending mode, and I set it to 8192, which is 8K texture. Enable hole fill-in, so it fills up any missing holes there. The only hole it won't fill in is that big monster hole in the bottom. But we're going to fix that in ZBrush, and I'll show you how to just kind of take another piece of the model and slap it under there, and I'll show you how to blend it all together, and you would never really even know because it's going to be on the bottom most of the time anyways. But so let's go ahead and start that process, and I'm going to go ahead and pause it. It'll probably take a little less time than the model building, but I'll be right back, okay? Alright guys, we're done with our final process there. All you got to do is go up here to this little triangle here and click on textured and watch the magic. And there we go. It's now taken all those photos and blended them on our model. And it does just a fantastic job, guys. I'm telling you, it's just a perfect blend on there. Now, granted, it did capture all those shadows and stuff like that inside the crevices, but I'm cool with that. I like that. I always like that look anyways. It pretty much baked the ambient occlusion right into the texture. But you can always go in and try to tone down some of the shadows and stuff like that. Probably bitmap to material could probably do that for you, or you can actually take the texture into Photoshop and adjust the shadows to flatten them out a little bit. But otherwise, it does a fantastic job of blending all the textures together from all those photos you did. So, I don't know why you guys didn't tell me, but I have not saved this file at all, which is probably not the best way to go about it. So we're going to just go rock save. So we're going to save the project. Probably the best bet after each of your workflow processes, I would definitely save it just so you don't lose it. And every time you save, it will snap everything, it'll reset the view. So just kind of remember that. But otherwise, let us go ahead and do export model. And I am going to call this rock underscore scan. Okay, just so I know what I'm working with, so I don't accidentally open up the rock scan when I'm trying to mess inside of Substance Painter, because we still want to adjust, we still want to go in and do some cleanup inside ZBrush. So I'm going to save, bring this up here, just export. I just do JPEG, it'll save out 8K texture for us, and then click OK. And then real quick, I'll take us over into ZBrush. Not going to do any cleanup. I just want to show the model off a little bit more inside ZBrush so you can see it a little bit better. And once it gets done here, we can hop right into ZBrush. Okay, so let me hop in there real fast, or any 3D editor. It doesn't have to be ZBrush. I'm a ZBrush fan. I love ZBrush. I will work around its limitations whenever I can, you know, so this is probably not the best program to clean things up with, but I don't care. I like ZBrush, okay? So I changed to matte cap gray, and I'm going to do import, and let's go to our demo here. Here's our object file, rock scan. We'll import that, take a quick gander at it, and let's go open up your textures real fast. We want to import, there it is, there's that funky rock scan right there. Double click that. It makes really weird UVs, but it works for the time being. And don't worry, the next tutorial I will show you how to clean your UVs up, project everything back on, and make a nice little model for you to play with in other programs. So real quick with the rock scan on the texture, I need you to flip V, because all you ZBrush users out there know that for some reason ZBrush, its texture system is upside down. So then we're going to do T for edit there and draw out our model. There it is, all nice and pretty, all 1.5 million active points. And go over to texture map. Now that we've flipped it, go to rock scan, load it up. We'll do anti-least and zoom in here. We can check it out. Very nice model there. And let me zoom back out. Let me close that up there so we can see. And as you can see, now that let me turn on the floor. Let me see, there it is. As you can see, it's totally thrown it on its side, even though when I shot it, it was like that, sort of. But yeah, so we'll fix all that. That's a quick, easy fix in there. I will show you how to clean up all that garbage down there. We'll get rid of all that. Yeah, so the next tutorial is definitely going to be much better. Let me zoom back in and turn off the floor. And let me change the material, flat color. Now you can see the texture perfectly without any shadow information. But yeah, we're gonna clean this up and we're gonna make it even better. So that's it for the tutorial today. That was just a quick overview of Photoscan and what you can do. And we will see you in the next video and we'll clean this bad boy up. Catch you next time.